Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Multiverse, Mike, where we bring you everything in the world of nerddom. Here to scratch that nerdy itch for you. I am one of your hosts, Brian, and I'm here, as always, with my good friends, Jacob.
Hello, I'm here.
And I'm here with Taylor.
Hey, what's up?
And we're here to talk about all the things that you love in the world of nerddom, movies, games, TV shows, comics, all of those wonderful nerdy things. And today we're going to talk about something that is a bit of a hot topic for a lot of people, and that is live action adaptations. And you know, this is something that people have some really strong opinions about. Okay. And I think that coming from my perspective, just in general, I love to see the live action adaptations, and I'm going to throw away some people's arguments just right off the bat here. A lot of people say, if you make live action adaptations of something and it's bad, you're going to ruin my childhood.
No.
How in the world does that ruin your childhood? Because you've still got the originals.
Yeah.
You can make 100 different remakes of your favorite movie and they could all be garbage, but you've still got your favorite movie. It's never going away. So from that perspective, I want to see as many remakes as possible because that just gives us more things that we get to go check out at the theaters. So that's kind of my thought process behind the whole live action, arguments that are going on out there.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I think what we're going to do here is we're probably just going to talk about some of our favorites. Right. I'm going to kick things off here.
Okay.
With something that may be a little bit unexpected, a little bit out of left field. My number 3 favorite live action adaptation is The Flintstones. I'm talking about the original movie from the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was watching clips of that the other day, and I completely forgot it existed until some clips started popping up, and I was watching it. I was thinking, this is actually really good. It's like they actually took the cartoon and just translated it directly into live action. And it's all practical effects. Mm-hmm. It's, they got some great actors in there. John Goodman is playing Fred Flintstone, for crying out loud.
It's a good choice.
It's
Rick Moranis to watch. Rick Moranis is his buddy, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got a who's who of great actors in there. It's really fun. I didn't remember actually liking it so much when I was a kid, but going back and looking at it now, I really enjoyed. I'm going to have to sit down and actually watch the whole movie now because those clips really got me interested and wanted to check it out again. So just based off the fact that I haven't seen it in like 25 years, I really enjoyed it.
I actually watched it the other day with my kids, and
wow,
they loved it. I mean, they loved it. And
was that before the cartoon?
And
have they seen the cartoon?
They have not seen the cartoon, and that's exactly. And so that to them, that's the first version, That's so. And I remember, I honestly going into this, I totally forgot about that movie, and so I'm really glad you said that. No, that's. So for me, I'm going to go. If you asked me as a kid, it would be the 101 Dalmatians movie, but for rewatching it now, it's like, for me, I'm going to go into kind of a more recent. One of the better Disney remakes for me has got to be Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
For me, it's the music. The music is what does it for me. And then they added a couple songs that weren't in the original, and that was, and they didn't take away from the movie. I feel like they added to the movie, and I just feel like they stayed true to the story. They didn't try to add anything stupid. There's so many stupid additions that get added into some of these things that are just like they try to make it different, try to make it updated. They didn't try to do that with this. They just did it, and it's the only thing they really changed is Belle's character. I guess she was more involved in her father's work, but I love it. It was a good change. It wasn't anything that was like over the top.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie too. A lot of people would say that it's not one of their favorites because it's too closely adapted from the cartoon.
Oh,
makes
my
no sense
goodness.
To me. It makes no sense to me.
Because the cartoon sucked, right?
Yeah.
Why, they're ruining it by making a good live action. Gosh. That's like I'm sorry, that's a dumb argument. Like, if I ever heard someone say they're ruining it because they're making it like a side by side, I was like, what do you want? Do you want it different or not? You're like, I want a little different, but not like that much different. Yeah. Like, change I don't want like the Beast, his look, make him more of like a goat instead of, like a, I don't know. Yeah.
I'd say that going to make like almost a shot for shot recreation, kind of like Beauty and the Beast was in most cases, doesn't ruin it for me. It just doesn't bring it to the top tier, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
You kind of know what you're getting in some ways.
Yeah, it was still really enjoyable for me. Mm-hmm. Jacob, what do you have on your number 3 spot?
Oh, number 3, and this one is kind of it's kind of controversial. I really liked Aladdin. Like, I'm gonna say and this is like one of those things where they did add or change a few things, but they kept the heart of it, which is hard to explain because it's like, the heart is with like the genie, Aladdin, Jasmine. They kept a lot. Like, I don't like the big, him turning into a bird instead of a snake. But anyways, I just like, there's things about it that I didn't like and I did like, but I would put that as number 3. Like, I would rewatch that with my kids just because I like the way Will Smith portrayed like his own thing. But yeah, I would say that's my number 3.
I'm curious to I'm curious to hear why you think that's a controversial pick for number 3.
Everyone I've ever talked to, like anybody I work with, they said like they didn't like that they changed things, but then my rebuttal is just like the changes were so subtle, and I think a lot of it too, it comes down to Robin Williams, because they're like, oh, they're replacing him, they're changing Genie, but really, like, he's doing his own thing. Like, it would be almost like rude of Will Smith to be Robin Williams, or to even take someone like Robin Williams and try to recreate it, because he did his own thing too. Robin Williams did a lot of like improv, and they liked it so much they kept it, which is crazy.
Yeah, right.
And then Will Smith is Will Smith, so there's lots of things that I took and I thought it was so funny, or the way he did music. But yeah, it seems like everybody like really fought me on that, except for like my wife, of course. But like, most of the time, anytime I brought that up, it's been controversial. I wouldn't say like I've been looking online and seeing how controversial it is, but at least in my own life, everybody that I've talked to was like, they didn't like it because of the little changes. But I mean, if we're talking little changes, you can talk about like Lilo and Stitch. But yeah.
Well, Jacob, why don't you follow that up and let us know what's number 2 in your list?
Number 2, it was between 2 of them, so I'm like right now, I'm just kind of like,
it could be a tie. I've got a tie for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of cheating, I guess, because we're putting 4 in our top 3.
I know. Yeah, exactly. No,
we're making the rules here. We can do whatever.
We're not going to grade each other on this.
No, so. I know. I really enjoyed the Cinderella remake. I'm watching that with my wife, just because that was one of those like one of the like 9 to 10 Disney VHSs I had was like the Cinderella, so I'd like rewatch it, and that was my wife's favorite like princess. But I thought they did a good job, and that's another thing where they, instead of like changing so much, they added to. Because that's like one of those classic princess movies where you're watching with your family, and it's the standard meets prince, they fall in love, but they kind of add a little more to it. Like, they add more about like who was her dad, what happened to him, why does she even have this evil stepmother and stepsister, versus just a cartoon. It doesn't matter, they just have it, so I like that they added to that, and like I really feel like that enhanced the movie a lot. It made you like really hate the mom a little bit more, or those sisters. But yeah, that's my number 2.
I'm going to piggyback off you here, because actually that's one of my ties for number 2. So I actually just watched it for the first time a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I never, of course, I've seen the cartoon, but I just watched the remake recently, and I was surprised how much I liked it.
Yeah.
Because Cinderella was never one of my favorite cartoons, but they did such a good job adapting that into live action. And what's his name that plays the prince?
I forget his name, but I know he's from
Rob Stark.
Rob Stark. He's from Eternals. Yeah, exactly. His name's Kit in the movie, because we don't know the prince's name really.
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden. Yeah.
I got the list up here. That's why I'm looking.
Yeah. No, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, he did a really good job playing the prince, and I felt like the character was actually fleshed out. It wasn't just like the pretty boy.
Yeah, like he was like, just kind of one of those princes that's like, doesn't fit into the the mold of a real prince, because he's just out hunting, kind of doing his own thing, and he's just like, I'm the prince, I can do this.
Yeah, and to your point, they took what was already good about the movie and they just added to it. They kept the original heart and feel of the cartoon, and they just fleshed it out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, what do you got at number 2?
Well, number 2 is actually something Jacob already said. The Aladdin. I feel like it was done really well, and I disagreed with what the critics said. It felt like they were trying to replace Robin Williams' Genie.
Right.
I feel like he did an amazing job at honoring Robin Williams' Genie. but also not trying to steal the character and making it his own as well. And it was, it had to be a really stressful role for Will Smith to take, knowing whose shoes he was stepping into. You know, and he wasn't and not that he wasn't trying to cast a shadow. He was stepping into the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like a torch being passed on to him for that role. And I feel like he did such an amazing job at making that his role, and how it, like you said at the beginning of the video, Brian, it doesn't take away from my childhood. I can still go back. Yes, my kids prefer the cartoon, but they won't stop watching the live action either. They see it as two separate movies. They're young, they're little, but for me, and that's seeing it from that point of view, it's like, okay, yeah, this is I feel like a really well done movie that it just felt like a good, clean movie, and that's really what I'm looking for in these things. I'm not looking for anything to, as we said in a couple of other videos, anything to push a needle or to send a message. I'm looking for something that is pretty similar to what I grew up on, and that's what a remake is for, a live action remakes, to try to kind of bring that nostalgic feeling back, and and I feel like that movie did a very good job at doing that.
Yeah, like you just want to be in the theater again to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you saw it maybe as a kid, as a cartoon, but now I'm an adult and I'm watching it in live action. Let's see what they do,
getting something different of it. Yep. So I said I had a tie for number 2. Cinderella was part of it. My other number 2 was The Jungle Book. And
yeah, I thought that was the other one that I was battling with too, because I thought that was a great remake.
I really enjoyed it because the cartoon, I don't know if you guys have watched it recently, it's really short.
Yeah.
There's not
they
much
really jump into things.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a pretty short movie, but they added a lot of good stuff into the live action version. I thought the voice cast was great. I thought that the new stuff they added in there, Christopher Walken.
Yes.
I think he did a great job. And just for the reasons that it's the same thing like we talked about, but they added to it in a way that made sense and kept with the story and kept the feel of the original. And so, Cinderella and Jungle Book are tied for number 2.
Yeah.
Number 1 on our list. Taylor, let me hear what you got.
I can't wait for mine.
Yeah. You just said it right there. It had to be The Jungle Book. That cartoon, I probably wore out that VHS tape as a kid. And so when I got to see it in theaters, and I didn't get to see it when it first came out, I got to see it in like a little side dinner and a movie thing that was like right after the movie came out.
Nice.
And but I don't remember eating my dinner because I was just like glued to the movie the whole time. I was just like, this movie is so good. Bill Murray did an amazing job, and it just
he did.
He man, that's
another
movie.
Like he did his own thing. Like
exactly.
That, of course, Baloo, the guy who did Baloo, he did the bear and Robin Hood too. But like it's just that guy, you can't like be him. So Bill Murray's like, I'm gonna be Bill Murray. I thought that was awesome.
I feel like that's every role Bill Murray takes is just Bill Murray.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
But that's what makes him so good. Yeah, exactly.
Jacob, what do you got number 1?
Oh my goodness. How to Train Your Dragon. That was such a good movie. Like, I can't wait to take Brian to watch it. Because Brian, have you seen the cartoon?
I have not seen the cartoon.
It's okay.
Not that I've tried to avoid it.
Yeah, right.
Just for whatever reason, I just haven't seen it.
It's just one of those. Exactly. No, but I have to say, because almost all these remakes, they use a few lines from the cartoon that you're like, oh, I understand that reference, or they say it just in a different way. Like, Will Smith kind of after the end of the song, when he first meets Aladdin, like, I love that Aladdin will be like, he's like, so I don't understand. He's like, didn't you understand? Didn't you listen to the song? Like, he just kind of like talk. That's his way of like explaining the rules. But like How to Train Your Dragon, like I'd say like 88% of it was like verbatim, because like I watched it like 2 or 3 times in a row because of my daughter's really liking the cartoon. So like sitting in the theater, like from his line at the beginning talking about the island of Berk, and then when the father figure steps in, I was like, this is literally like the same exact, and I wasn't sure how I feel about that, but I thought it was awesome because I feel like, especially Gerard Butler still being the dad in his voice, like just like seeing him say it. And like, I want to say, like, he's even more terrifying as a like in-person actor than that cartoon was, because like right away, like in the cartoon, he's this big, like huge, unrealistic, like Viking, and he's punching dragons. I'm like, okay, they're not going to do that. This is a live action movie, no way. And Gerard Butler's just punching dragons, and I was like, holy, yeah, that was one of the best moments too. I was just like hitting my daughter. I was like, did you see that? And she's like, I'm watching this. Like, did you see that? Yeah, yeah, it was so cool.
Man. Yeah, I haven't gotten to see that one yet, but we've been trying to find a babysitter so we can take Teddy to go see it, and so it's just exciting because I've heard it's really good, and hearing you say that, putting it at your number one, and it just came out, like that gets me so pumped to go see this movie.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Not just like, because I was kind of, one of the biggest critics that things I've been actually seeing online was, people were talking about how like the CGI dragons, which were already CGI, like I saw, it was a funny reel though, where this gentleman was just going, oh my goodness, live action, but they're using CGI dragons. Oh, that's so dumb. Why don't they use real dragons? And like, I thought it was funny, but also like, I think that's just like a stupid thing. It's just a remake. It's just another way to put it in theaters, and it's such a good story. Like, however they did it, as long as they did it right, I'd spend money to see it just because I liked it. But yeah, even like, and like the thing about like my daughter being 5, and I was kind of a little nervous. I was like, live action, like, what if they make this a little more terrifying? And in some ways, like very subtle ways they do, but like it's not enough for like to scare away a kid out of the movie theater. But yeah,
I absolutely cannot wait to see that. I'm really excited to go check it out, partially because I've not seen the cartoon, so I'm interested to see how much I like it in comparison to you being so familiar with the animated version already. But number one on my list, and you guys have already said this on your list, it's Aladdin.
It's a good list.
I remember, there's a lot of similarities that we have in our list, which is
more than I thought, honestly.
That in common, but Aladdin for me surprised me. For some of the reasons you guys mentioned already, Will Smith had the insurmountable job of taking on this character that was made so iconic by Robin Williams. There is absolutely no way that he could have copied the character, so I'm glad that he did his own take on it.
Mm-hmm.
And his own take worked really well. And as big of a star as Will Smith is, he wasn't even the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The music has always been some of my favorite, but the way that they kind of spiced the music up for the movie worked out really well.
Yeah.
The new original song that they had in there from Princess Jasmine,
that was sweet,
better than it had any right to be. Usually when they tack on an extra song in a movie like that, it's just some throwaway thing that nobody cares about. It was really good. And the guy that played Aladdin, Mina Mossad, I think is his name. I don't know why he's not in more movies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Scott is a superstar. And I just, from top to bottom, there's not a bad thing I can say about that movie. They kept everything I loved about the original. They added a little bit more to it. I guess the only complaint I have is I didn't really care for the guy that played Jafar.
Okay, that was going to be my complaint.
But
great movie,
fantastic. I mean, I can watch that on loop endlessly, and sometimes I just play the music in my car as I'm driving around. That's how much I like it. That is going to lead me into one more thing I wanted to talk about with you guys, because we're just talking about top 3. I don't necessarily care to talk about the ones that we didn't like, but I want to know from you guys, what live action adaptations would you like to see? For me, based off of Aladdin, as much as I like that, Guy Ritchie's the one that directed that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think that would work out to begin with anyways. Right? I was pretty skeptical about that. But he did wonderful with that. And there's the rumored Hercules remake.
I would love to see that.
With Guy Ritchie directing that. Okay. And let me throw this out at you. Fan casting here. We're going to have Zeus and Hades played by Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston.
That would be awesome.
I would love to see that.
I would love that. That would be so cool.
That would be wild.
Oh.
And you got to get Danny DeVito to come back.
Oh, you have to. He's so small. Like, I mean, they could do whatever they wanted with that.
I'm sure he'd be knocking on his door, being like, "You better be casting me in this role, or I'm
right.
I'm gonna boycott this movie."
And they already made the live action show I wanted, because I wanted like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they did that, and I thought they did a really good job.
I needed redemption. I needed redemption after that movie, but yeah, we're not talking about the worst ones.
I'm gonna throw up if I talk about that movie.
I've not seen the whole thing.
The show or the movie?
The show or the movie? Yeah. Don't.
Jacob, we watched it together.
Yep.
But I slept through most of it.
Yes, that's fine.
That's how much I liked it.
Yeah, exactly. That shows right there.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that question. Okay.
Curveball.
Yeah, that was definitely a curveball question. I was ready for just one singular worst.
Just ready to run.
I had one in the And let me see.
And I was gonna say One Piece. I was like, oh, they did do that on Netflix, and it was really good.
So I'm trying to think
of like.
It was surprising.
Yeah, you guys are popping up with some things here I forgot to think about too.
Well, that we're talking about movies. So that's a show, because like some of these they turn into shows, and
right,
did pretty good job there.
Well, if you can't think of anything that you want to see going forward, just tell me about the worst thing you've seen.
I do want to see The Emperor's New Groove. I would love to see that in live action.
Oh yeah, see that's a classic favorite of mine.
Yeah,
for the animated. But I would be conflicted about that as a live action, only because I love Patrick Warburton as Kronk so much.
It'd have to be Patrick Warburton.
It couldn't,
right.
He's starting to get a little old, but
it would be difficult for him to play that part at this point.
They do dub over, where they just dub his voice over top of somebody's someone jacked.
It's gonna be kind of, you guys might kind of laugh at this one. It'd be kind of interesting to see how they would do a live action of The Incredibles. I know that it's
next month. It's called Fantastic Four.
Or Cars, a live action Cars.
Live action Cars
with real cars.
Fast and Furious.
Fast. Yes.
Family. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I mean, there's. I just feel like it'd be kind of interesting, kind of see what they would do if they do the actual previous story of the first movie, or if they would try to do something completely different with it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad you guys didn't bring up The Lion King as one of your favorites, because
it's not really live action.
It's not live action at all. There is not one single shot of live action anything in that film. The entire thing is CGI.
It's like remake CGI.
It's not a bad movie, but it's not a live action movie, so it wasn't.
I just
even
didn't
on my
enjoy
list.
it that much, because it's one of those things where I'm like, it's like stunning, but at the same time, and I'm not even just trying to be like, oh, I didn't like his voice, I didn't like her voice. It's just that, like, because it's so CGI, and they're like, let's make this really realistic. Like the scene, especially when like the wildebeests are like jumping over the cliff, like, and coming at Simba, where Simba in the cartoon, his eyes just like pop and like his eyes dilate, and he just like, and then the color changes in the scene, because you kind of feel like, oh, he's terrified, and he's like, I'm screwed, But then you get to the live action, and it just shows this lion going. It just looks like a lion staring in the distance.
Like, you can't give a lion that's trying to be real. Yeah, exactly. You can't give a lion that's trying to be real expression, otherwise it becomes not looking real, but it's still CGI.
So that's one of those that they kind of did mostly a shot-for-shot remake. They didn't really add a lot to it, but they lost the soul of the original.
Yeah.
There's nothing offensively bad about it. It's just not good.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are offensively bad, though, Taylor, I know you're dying to tell me something that you just hate about the live actions.
This has nothing to do with Disney. I'm sure, I might make some people puke. Dragon Ball Evolution has got to be the worst movie ever created.
Oh man!
I mean,
I'm gonna pass out.
The fact that it even has the name Dragon Ball in it makes me want to puke, because it doesn't. Where is the story?
That movie is a fever dream. it's someone
Did it really
made up
happen?
junk. Yeah, exactly. You woke up like that'd be weird if that happened like that. Like, it did. What?
What?
Man.
Yeah.
That was the worst. I don't know, that or Mario, Super Mario, from the 90s.
That movie's so bad, I like it.
Yeah.
See, that's bad.
That's a drinking game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like
that are just awful. Like you can't stand to watch them. Dragon Ball fits in that category.
Yeah.
Mario is like it's so bad it's good.
Exactly. It felt like that movie never took itself seriously, so it just rolled with it.
Yeah. I think one of these days we're gonna have to make a podcast just about all the worst movies we've ever seen.
Yes. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
So,
live action adaptations, love them or hate them, they're going to be something that's going to be with us for a long time because, generally speaking, they make a lot of money.
Right? It's money.
So we're going to be getting a lot of them, especially from Disney. They're going to live action remake everything in their catalog at some point or another, except Song of the South. I doubt we're going to see that one.
Probably not.
but I'm sure we're going to see Frozen before too long. We're probably going to see Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame. All those classics are going to get remade at some point.
That'd be cool, though.
Some of those would be pretty cool, right? I've been looking forward to some of those more than others. But the big question we have now is, what do you guys think? All of you listeners at home, what live action adaptations are your favorites? Which ones can you absolutely not stand? Do you agree with us? Do you think that we made some mistakes with our list? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to leave us those comments, give us a like, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future videos. If you're listening on the audio-only versions, we'd love to get some 5-star reviews. It helps the podcast go a long way into helping us grow our reach. But thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Hope you had a good time. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
See you.